We have a very special guest, the first player of the offseason, and it's the Unk himself. Tony Jefferson is joining the show.
You are Locked On Chargers, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Chargers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, and welcome into the Locked On Chargers podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Wade, joined as always by my co-host, David Drogemeyer, and we've been covering the Chargers now for 9 seasons together, but this is our 7th year as the host of the Locked On Chargers podcast, bringing you your team every day. And today's only the second time that we've had a recurring NFL player join the show and a recurring Charger, because we have Tony Jefferson on the show today. And to make sure you never miss the show, go subscribe or follow for free on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel and listen wherever you get your podcast from. But so cool to have Tony Jefferson on, knowing what he meant to this team, right? And it's so cool hearing why he hopes he can be back with the Chargers. Kind of, that third preseason performance where he absolutely balled out and what that felt like, cementing his roster spot at that point. Talking about Khalil Mack, talking about bringing up the rookies, Cam Hart and Tarheeb still, and what he was telling Cam Hart before the season. So much great stuff with Tony Jefferson, but this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Here he is, Tony Jefferson. All right, well, now it's time to get to our very special guest, the first player of the offseason on the show. We have Tony Jefferson, who is now a recurring guest coming back on the show. And the last time we talked to him, he hadn't even made the team yet. Now we know what he was able to do coming in, making such a big impact for this team and kind of a Cinderella story. But Tony, thank you so much for coming back, man. The unction is on.
The unction is alive and on. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I mean, you had an unbelievable season. I mean, I really loved what you were able to do. Not just coming back, but you came back and played well. You weren't coming back just to come back. You came back and were an impact player when you were on the field. But I thought you played really well on the best scoring defense in the league, which I think says a lot. And I think we have to start with the question on every fan's mind right now, which is, could we see you back with the Chargers in 2025?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a real possibility. There's been, communication back and forth, really. So I'm just hoping for the best in that regard. I know obviously it's the best situation for me, being close to home and playing for the Chargers. So I'm pretty sure things will get worked out. Obviously I had probably one of the most fun years of my career, which is crazy to say this late, but it was fun, bro. It was so much fun. It was cool just being around such a young team and then, just going as far as we did in the first year with the new regime and stuff. And, being a part of really just the new culture that was being built for the Chargers, the Bolt, I was one of the few first players to be there because I started training there early in the summer. So I got to be a part of that, so that means a lot to me. That's not something I just let go by me. It's something real. So I'm excited about what the possible future holds for me.
It was really cool to, for us to see that you made the team and, you were playing well after talking with you last year and hearing that you weren't just coming back, for a farewell season. And it was very obvious that you have plenty left in the tank. But how much do you think you could improve next season with having a full off season of training, under your belt?
Bro, it's gonna be such a big difference. And it's I just was thinking about it right when the season was over. I'm man, I wish I would have just had a full training. Bro, I didn't start actually training, bro, till so late, right before the mini camp. And I was thank God they signed me, because honestly, I probably look like trash in that mini camp. Out of shape. I'm happy they maybe saw a little something. They're okay, there's something there. But I just progressively got better, got in shape as the season went along. As I got more opportunities to get my feel back of the game, that was huge for me. Just when you take a year off, it's just kind of okay, making the calls as a safety, especially in this defense. We run the show as far as checks, all that stuff back there. So getting back into the groove of that, and then really just, being put in a situation where, at the end of the season, I had to be ready, and I had to come in and play some meaningful snaps and meaningful games. But I just think going into this year, I've already started training. Like today was super hard today. I literally just got up. I was laying down. It was leg day, and
Oh.
yeah, I know my trainer told me
Nobody likes leg day.
last night. He told me last night, he's like, "Hey, get ready to go today." So I had to get my mind right, and I had a great day running some hills today. So I love the process, and I love the grind, and I just know that like going into it this time, it's just going to be. I just feel like I'm just going to have a fantastic year.
I mean, yeah, I thought you played great, and I think that it was interesting hearing you say, the safeties run the show, because I think one of the biggest difference between this defense and the defense of 2023 was just the lack of big plays allowed, the lack of broken plays, the lack of miscommunications leading to big plays. And I thought that it was really, the safeties, Derwin, obviously Elijah Molden played great there too, Alohi Gilman. But going back to you in last season, as you're trying to make the team, because we were on there the whole time, right, going through it like, hey, it's looking good. He's, we're hearing him stand out in practice, all this stuff. But then the preseason comes, and then you had to miss a game, right? You got banged up a little bit, and we're like, oh my God, like this dude, like, is he gonna have a chance to like make that statement to make the team? And then what happened. I mean, one of the coolest things that happened of the offseason, the best preseason performance I've ever seen, period.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like. 14 tackles, 11 solo tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. Yeah. Making a statement, leaving no doubt. Like they couldn't possibly not keep you around after that game. But like, what did it feel like to have that performance with your roster spot and maybe even like your football career on the line?
Yeah, no, it was definitely. I knew it was at that point do or die, and like I said, like that off season last year, I didn't have that much time. So like taking a year off, like. And what was really like getting in my way was my hamstrings, because they just weren't like conditioned. Like they weren't conditioned for the stop and go, the running that we do in camp. And like I was dealing with that pretty much the whole training camp. So like I started off hot, like on the very first day, I like pick and like some other stuff. And then like hamstring grabbed on me again. So I'm like, I'm out there and I'm really just trying to thug it out, because I'm like, I can't like, I don't have the opportunity or
there's no time. Yeah,
time or leeway to be like, hey, my hamstrings, I got to sit out. Like they need to see me perform and play and practice. So I'm out there really on one leg most of the time throughout that process. I played the Seattle Seahawks preseason game with a grade 2 hammy. Like I literally was playing with a hamstring, bro, and I had to. And like my trainer with him, he's like, after the Seahawks game, he's like, bro, because like, bro, I couldn't go full speed. Like there was just no way I could. Like I was like 60%, bro, but I had to. He was just like, let's just go get MRI on it. And like, we know you don't want to sit out, but it's probably best we just look at it. So, I had to sit out that Rams game because there was no way I was going to be able to go out and play. And they were just like, you just want to be ready for that last preseason game so that you could just go out. And so I basically took that whole week off for the Rams week, and pretty much most of Dallas week too. I didn't really practice either. I was just, let me just go out there and just, and I knew it was do or die. And thank God, to this day, I thank God for allowing me to feel great on game day, because I felt great on game day. I felt great.
It showed.
Yeah, I felt great, bro, and I was able to just fly around, and everything was just in slow motion. And I knew that, like, okay, well, I know what it feels like to be back in football, like mode, like that put me back in the mode. So I felt like I was ready for the season, and I was blessed to be able to go out there and make the plays that I did.
Man, that was a man among boys performance, though. My goodness, man. That,
to be fair, I was 32 years old going against a bunch of rookies. So,
but that's not something that never happens, though, right? There's lots of people been in that situation. I mean, even the fact that you came back, man, like many have tried it, not many have succeeded. So don't sell yourself short there, because that performance was insane, dude. And like the preseason happens every year. There's plenty of vets trying to tag onto rosters. No one's putting together stat lines like that, right? Like it. I mean, like, it reminds me of Hassan Whiteside. I know you follow the Heat a little bit. Back in the day, where he's like, nobody's doing the triple doubles with blocks. You know what I mean? It was like,
no, sure.
every single thing you could have done, every big kind of play you could have made, you showed, hey, I can affect the game in coverage. I can affect the game in the running game. I can affect the game in every possible facet. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that kind of solidified things for you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely did. Yeah, definitely put me in the right direction after that.
We have more great stuff with Tony coming up, including what he thinks the Chargers have to do to take that next step and start winning playoff games, and how impressed he was with the two rookie corners, Cam Hart and Tarheeb still, and more on today's Locked On Chargers podcast. First, I need to tell you guys about the big game, because it's almost here, and there's no better way to make it even more exciting than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded, Prize Picks makes it fun and simple to get in on the action. Here's how it works, and this is why I love Prize Picks specifically, right? All you do, pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's that simple. Prize Picks even has a free pick for the big game. They're going to give you one, right? That's 1 out of the 2 that you need. You can pair that with 1 more correct pick, and you're cashing out, and it's that simple. This week, I'm looking on the board, and I'm selecting more for Travis Kelce on receiving yards and more for quarterback passing yardage. But I'm probably going to try to go with as many Philadelphia Eagles ones as I can, and maybe even trying to take the less than on as many Chiefs as I can, as I hope they get absolutely blown out in the Super Bowl. But all you have to do, check out the promos tab, make sure you see all the great offers that they have going on, including the super sweet Millie Winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. All you have to do, download the app today and use the code LOCKDOWNNFL to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKDOWNNFL for $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Cinderella story kind of got cut a little bit short. Obviously, with the Chargers losing in the first round of the playoffs. But, you've been on playoff teams before, including the 2015 Cardinals team that went to the NFC Championship game. In your opinion, what does this team need to do to take that next step and start winning games in the playoffs?
Just learn from the previous years. It's the NFL, bro. Like, if you show up on playoffs in the playoffs, and like, you're just not on your P's and Q's in certain moments, like it can be 1 play, it can be 2 play, that can be the game. And that's just what it is. It's very cutthroat when it gets to the playoffs, and it's like, dang, as soon as it's over, season's over, you're going home, and it sucks. But the best thing about it is that you possibly have another opportunity the next year, and you just want to learn from your mistakes, honestly. And it's just like, just get there next year, and then the rest will take care of itself. You can't really like bowl too much on what happened the past year. It's a new year at this point. So if I am back, and which I hope I am, I'm really excited for what this group was able to see, the potential of where we can be and where we can go. And I know guys are going to be fired up and ready to roll come shoot OTAs.
Yeah, I mean, that will definitely give some fire, in your belly. But I think the hardest thing about losing like that is just like, you can't even really redeem it. Not only next season, not week 1. It's like you have to wait till the playoffs until you can redeem it, right? So I think that's really tough to have to sit on. But I think it's such a great point about just how young of a team you guys were. And I think one of the best stories this season in the Chargers secondary was just the emergence of the rookies, Cam Hart and Tarheeb still. And I love seeing them run up to you, talking about Unk, and just like it felt like when they were making big plays in the game, they were kind of seeing how you would react to it. And like you were there to kind of gas them up and help them out through their rookie seasons. But you were a guy that made the team as an undrafted free agent when you were coming out, and also had a role as a rookie that season. Can you put it into perspective how impressive it was for what those guys were able to do in year 1?
Oh, it was very impressive. Very impressive. These aren't like, especially I'm talking about the 2 corners that I dealt with in secondary. They weren't like first round picks or anything. These are later round guys who, they got to come in and prove themselves and stamp themselves in the secondary. And I thought they did a tremendous job, really, of just not getting too high, not getting too low throughout the seasons. Regardless, guys. I mean, Tarheeb was up defensive player of the week, like, of the NFL, like, after Atlanta. Like, that's a lot to carry as a rookie. and I thought he handled that well. Cam Hart, every time he was in, I thought he did a good job of just staying poised, regardless if he was covering those Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He was on it, never back down, and that's really what you want out of rookies, are guys who are ready to roll and ready to play, and be those guys that you can depend on. I remember vividly, very vividly. I don't know why, but this was during training camp, and training camp had actually just ended or whatever. And I had called Cam Hart, and I was just like, bro, you know what? Like, I want you to just make sure you're staying in the playbook, bro, because you never know, like injury wise, anything, we may need you, bro. Like, just make sure you're staying in your playbook and like staying active. And then what do you know? My dog's in there getting starter snaps, and then he hit me up like a few weeks later. He's like, bro, do you remember when you called me like during camp? I was like, yeah, bro, trust me, I've been there. I was a rookie, undrafted free agent rookie, and when my name was called, I was ready, and that really impressed the veterans. That really stamped me as a pivotal part of that secondary. And I was dealing with Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, like big time names, guys who are trying to get to the Super Bowl, who are older, who are dependent on younger guys like me. So I wanted to make sure that our younger guys were put in the best position mentally to be able to go out there and perform.
Wise words from Tony Jefferson there, making sure that the rookies are ready to go. And they didn't know how important that advice would be, because man, they were playing a lot this year. And like, honestly,
well, it's easy to forget they didn't start out as starters, right? Like they were not starters to start the season, but they were the two starting guys on the outside or in the slot at the end of the year, which is crazy.
Huge to consider the amount of snaps that they ended up playing the whole season, before when they brought in, it's crazy to see that. And it's good to see that they were ready for the moment. They definitely met the moment. But at this point, it seems clear that the Chargers will be keeping Jesse Minter, which is huge for them, because it felt like, he could definitely be a head coach someday. You've been around several great defensive coordinators in your time in the league. Did, the way that Jesse Minter do things with a kind of a different approach, did he have a different approach than some of the coaches you've been with in the past?
Yeah. I mean, I've dealt with, kind of similar coaches too. Like, I thought he was poised, even in moments where, things met, like the Buccaneers game. He held his composure. He was still positive with us, and that's who Jesse Minter is. He's a player's coach. It's probably his last year, probably being DC. He's going to be
2025.
Yeah, this year. He's going to be a head coach the next year. He's ready. The way he commands the room, they'll go and talk. He'll talk in front of the team nights before games, and he's just ready. He's just ready. His demeanor's there. The respect is there from the players, all the other coaches. He's a mastermind, wizard of what he does. We're not going to overlook the fact that we were the number one scoring points allowed in the NFL. Like, that's a big deal, and especially in a league like this where it's a passing league and guys are scoring so much. And what he was able to do, putting guys in position to succeed. And I just love the flow of his play calling. Like, and that's what's really drawing me to want to come back so much too, because I love his scheme and like what his vision is for the defense, and it kind of fits just my mold and what I want to do as a DB. So.
Yeah, I mean, you want a coach that's going to put you in the best positions to succeed, right? It sounds cliche and you hear it all the time, but I think there's very few that don't actually just want to try to fit you into what their scheme is, even if they say, I'm going to do what's best for my players, right? We've seen that many times before. But I do think that, who else is doing it in college 1 year, right? The best scoring defense in college, and then the next year, in his first year as an NFL DC, he has the number one scoring defense in the NFL.
Work.
Like, I couldn't look it up. I tried to research it. I don't know if it's ever been done before. It's hard to believe somebody did it in college and then the NFL in back-to-back years, and that's what Jesse Minter just did. But we still have more great stuff with Tony coming up, including how big of an impact Khalil Mack made on him this year, and also, most importantly, who has better Mexican food, Los Angeles or San Diego, and more on today's Locked On Chargers podcast. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get any money back, and then waiting and wondering and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today, an expert who gives you the taxes their undivided attention and works on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on everything else you have going on in your life. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. Also, you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. But he was part of this new regime, Jim Harbaugh, Joe Ortiz as well, who you had a relationship with coming in. But they did an excellent job. They took a 5-win Chargers team that was lacking direction, lacking culture, and turned things around in 2024, going 11-6, making the playoffs. Part of the reason was bringing in the right guys, bringing in guys like you to have the mix of the young guys and the veterans. But what do you think led the new regime to be able to turn things around so quickly in year one?
Like I said, these coaches are players' coaches. It's so easy, really, to adapt and buy into what they're telling us and what they're coaching. They made the environment very fun. It was very welcoming, like for any player. I remember we would bring in guys, and every single person I got up and spoke or gave wise words, they were like, "We appreciate you." They would appreciate how everyone was just accepting of them, how everybody was just welcoming, and it sounds small, but it's such a big thing when guys are coming in from all over different teams. It's not as easy to just fall into a team and just fit in and everybody be that way. Because I've been places where some guys are they're closed off here and they got
a little cliquey inside the locker room.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it's not. You don't really want to be in that type of environment. But it's nothing like that here. It's very welcoming, and guys are just. And that's why so many guys came in and were just ready to make plays. And we think of Marcus May, safety. We signed him that week.
Yeah.
We played the Falcons, and he got a pick. Eddie Jackson, another safety. We signed him, Patriots. He's in there. And it was just
Eli Apple too. Another
Eli Apple. It was so many of those situations that happened, and as an outsider looking in, it may not look as big, but inside it's bro, we really are one of those teams that it can be a factory because of the culture and because of the welcomingness that we've built here. It's pretty good for everybody, organization.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a situation where anybody would want to come into, right? You want to feel accepted, feel welcome, and feel like you can contribute and that they want you to be there. But you said in an interview earlier in the offseason that you loved playing with Khalil Mack, and you were quick to remind everybody that he is actually older than you. Mack feels like one of those guys.
Is that confirmed?
I don't know. I just took your word for it when I wrote it down. We're going to say yes. We're going to say that you're younger.
Hopefully that's confirmed.
I'm pretty sure.
He's turning 34 February 22nd.
Oh, yeah. He's older than me for sure.
Yeah.
Old man.
That's the real unk right there, bro.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
But, he was one of the guys that you said it was one of the guys that you really enjoyed playing with. And it seems like a guy that, really is your favorite player's favorite player. Everything on the field and behind the scenes that Mack brought to this team. But how important do you think it is that the Chargers try to keep him in LA next season?
Very important. Very important. I think they know that. I think he knows that. I think Mack's going to be back. But he's definitely one of those guys in the defensive room where it's just when he talks, everybody listens.
Yeah.
He talks, everybody feels what he's saying. He's not just yapping. What he's saying is coming from his heart and from his soul. And honestly, I know I'm not some young guy to him, but I want to win one for him the way he was had me pumped up and ready to go. I was I want to get out there and win one for Mack. I know he's getting the yellow jacket, but I want him to get a ring too. So that was extra motivation too, going into the Texans game too in the playoffs. I want to get my dog one. I want to get one, obviously, but
yeah,
I'm more of a guy who I'd rather see other people, you know what I'm saying? But I was really like impressed to be able to impressed and blessed to be able to be on the same team, same defense as Khalil Mack, be on the same field with him, share the field with him. He's just a monster. And he's a great teammate and great leader.
Yeah, and I mean, you've gotten to share some, the field with some all-time greats. One of our favorites, Eric Weddle. I know you guys are cool. I know you guys are friends too. But for the last time we had you on, real quick before we go, we asked you Whataburger versus In-N-Out. But today I have a much more polarizing question for you, and it's pressing. It needs to be said. We're San Diego guys, so I have to ask you, who has the better Mexican food? Los Angeles or San Diego?
Bro, it's not even close. It's San Diego.
Okay, there we go. Let the record show.
LA's Mexican food is good. Like, it's good. But, like, when it comes to, like, the carne asada, which is, like, really important to me. Like, I value the carne asada, like, and the burritos, the carne asada fries.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the taste and the seasoning and the way it's, like, cut, like, that matters to me. And, like, I just have not in LA. And I've tried, like, random, I'll go to, like, there'll be people at the road, I'll stop and go. There's one down the street. I tried it. No. Like, it just didn't compare to, like, Tacos El Gordo down here.
Tacos El Gordo.
Tijas, Lolitas. Shout out to Lolitas. I grew up on Lolitas. It just doesn't compare. And like I said, LA's Mexican food is good, but it's not messing with San Diego Mexican food.
I think David, yeah. No, we're San Diego guys, so Lolita's right across from Petco Park, right? Watching Padre games. Oh, yeah. But I know David might kill me if I don't let him ask a Padres question. So go ahead, David.
Yeah. I mean, and for me, just to throw it in for the Mexican food real quick, LS Tecca's Taco Shop in La Mesa is one of my absolute all-time favorites.
Where's that by?
It's by San Diego State.
Yeah, by State. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're goated. Like,
no, they are. Bro, I'm on a diet right now, so can we stop talking about Mexican food?
All right, let's move on to something a little more depressing here. What's going on with the Padres, man? This offseason has been one of the most disappointing in recent memory. It has been horrible to watch.
Yeah, I'm still repping though. But
okay,
yes, sir.
But yeah,
and you're in Dodgers territory now too, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. And for some reason, my son's a Dodgers fan.
Oh,
yeah.
David's son's a Chiefs fan. If it makes you feel better,
it's horrible.
Blame MLB The Show for my son being a Dodgers fan. He loves playing the game. He loves playing with the Dodgers. Obviously, they're going to be great. They have all those players. But about the Padres, I'm really confused, and I guess I'm out of the loop. But I'm pretty sure I follow them pretty well, and I'm unsure on like what we're doing as far as
nothing.
Like moves. Man, we're not doing nothing, and our rivals are doing everything. So I'm trying to figure out what are we going to do. We need a left fielder like really bad. Like what are we doing? Yeah, he's gone, and then like I just saw today that like Michael King is in the trade rumors. Like, why are we getting rid of him? I don't get that.
That's insane to me too. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Are we tanking? Like, are we just like folding? I'm not sure. But as long as they don't touch Tatis, like, we'll be solid, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and it sucks too because like I grew up, I graduated 2011 from El Cap in San Diego, but like it was Channel 4 for me. My parents letting me stay up on Channel 4, 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. watching the lowest payrolls and watching Bruce Bochy work magic with like the Brian Giles being your best player and the Phil Nevins and the Ryan Kleskos, like, but you always lost your best players, right? So I just really hope it doesn't go back to that because like it was so nice to have, Peter Seidler, rest in peace, going for it and signing everyone and being that team. And I will say this, Dodgers fans, because I know we have a lot of them that watch this podcast. The one thing I take solace in, if the Dodgers don't win it all, historic disappointment. And guess what happened in 2022? Yes. 2022, no one thought that the Padres were going to beat the Dodgers. And then Josh Hader goes 1-2-3 against Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman, sending him into the NLCS. That's all I'm going to say. They have to win it all or else it's an extreme disappointment.
I have to piggyback off that. Dodgers fans, like, if you guys do not win it all, you guys like there has to be a agreement that you guys will stay off of social media for at least like 3 months. You can't show your face, no Dodgers stuff, no social media tweets, nothing about the Dodgers for 3 months if you guys do not win the World Series, because that would be like you said, the most historic disappointment in MLB in sports history.
Yeah, it's like Tom Brady not winning a Super Bowl when they're undefeated and have Randy Moss on the team. But Tony, you were so generous with your time. San Diego guys, it's been so awesome to watch your career and see what you've been able to do and putting the city on your back. And that way, now getting to play for the team that you grew up for. But super hopeful that we'll see you back. I think your play definitely showed the team that you should be back. And we know you have good relationships with everyone, in that front office. So hoping a deal gets done. But if not, man, I'm sure you're going to have success wherever you go, because I think you showed that you have plenty left in the gas tank. And thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys having me, bro. Thank you.
Another special thank you to Tony Jefferson. I mean, you can get people to come on your show, right? And we've gone up plenty of big guests, thanks to David, our spectacular guest booker. But you don't always have to be that cool, man. And Tony Jefferson is just so cool, and I really appreciate him taking the time, especially as he doesn't know where he's going to be in 2025 yet. But I have no doubt that he's going to be playing somewhere really well, and I hope that it's the Chargers. But thank you guys for checking out today's show. We're going to continue to try to bring you the biggest guests throughout the offseason, because we are the only daily Chargers podcast out there, and you can make sure you never miss the next big interview by following us or subscribing for free on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, as well as listening to us wherever you get your podcast from. We're going to be blasting this one all over social media. You can find the show every day on all of our social media. You can find us on Twitter at LockedOnOAC, on Instagram at Locked On Chargers, and our Locked On Chargers Facebook page. You can also find me on Twitter at Dan Talk Sports and David at Dro Talk ST. And if you guys want to follow someone that's all over the place, Padres, Chargers, NFL, talent evaluation, follow Tony Jefferson at TL Jefferson23 as well. He is a great follow. One of my favorite follows on Twitter. Make sure you guys hit him up there. But that's going to wrap things up for today's show. Make sure you guys are back here with us tomorrow, because it is your team every day as we continue to pursue the biggest interviews this offseason and make it the best offseason that we've had yet. But until then, guys, take it easy and go Bolts.